Hello, everyone. Welcome, audience, listening, watching us, and my lovely Sexy at 60 guest. Week 6, here we are. Welcome again. How exciting. We've made it to week 6. And now it's like, shall we continue? Would we like to continue? I do have an idea, and that really depends on the listeners. On their feedback because some of them might have questions once they've watched. And what we could do is, if that sounds fun, we could do an extra session and do like a Q&A. But if that's going to happen, we will announce the date further. That sounds fun. So we are Sexy at 60, and here in front of me we've got Nikki, Sheila, Diane, Chris, and Tracy. I started the show. I thought of an idea because we were all reaching the age of 60. I thought, well, why don't we just all get together and talk about everyday topics in life and try to inspire other females around the world. Say that we are still thriving at the age of 60. And we've, of course, showcased this in the last 6 weeks by the different topics. We had taking risks and personal growth in session 1. Then we had overcoming challenges, working contribution, health and body. Last week we did being visible and heard. And today we will be talking about how to keep the spirit young. So I'm looking forward to it, and I know my lovely Sexy at 60 ladies here are too. So what we'll do now is we'll just make a start giving a quick roundup and introduce ourselves. And I'm going to ask Nikki to take the lead, please.
Thank you so much, Gula. It's such a pleasure to be here this week, especially as I wasn't with you in person last week. My name's Nikki Quinn. I work in corporate, but I also help women, especially young women, take their careers one step forward. Whether they are entrepreneurs, whether they work in the corporate environment, but helping them just get a little bit further in their journeys. And I love empowering young women to do that. I've been reflecting on the last week, and one of the things that I've been thinking about is for the last 6 weeks, the 6 of us have met each other religiously and shared our life stories. I'm going to miss you all, and I'm going to beg Gula to find a way to make sure that we all stay connected, whether it is a quarterly drinks on Zoom, whether it is a Q&A session, perhaps every 6 weeks. But I really have got to know this group of ladies so well, and I'm so inspired by all of you that I want to make sure, and I'm begging Gula to make sure that we continue this journey together. On that note, I'm going to hand over to Chris. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Guler, for this wonderful time together. You know, I see us all like beautiful individual flowers, but together we make an incredible bouquet. And it's just so heartwarming to hear all the journeys that you guys have been on and hear your experiences. So it's fabulous. So thank you, Guler, for making this happen. I am an ADHD coach. My name's Chris Diazio, and I work with teens from 13 to 20, actually. And I help students navigate through having ADHD and dyslexia in school and how to give them better coping skills and better strategies on how to be successful in school, and work with time management, organizational skills, and also support the parents that are struggling with their child, how to communicate better, So I'm coaching not only the child, but also the parent, and making sure that they have a little bit more harmonious journey through education, because that can always be so looming. So that is what I do. They always say, when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And that is really how I feel. I love what I do. It's a real passion of mine. And when I'm thinking about last week, I really appreciate all the journeys we've been on. You know, it's so funny because we know each other to some level, but to hear the different stories of each of the gals here, it makes me even appreciate you guys even more so. And being heard is a big deal. You know, we don't realize how we weren't heard because we were going through what we were going through and knowing limited information at that time, and then growing, and look at us now. So I'm very proud of all of us. So on that note, I'm going to pass this on to Sheila.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris. And thanks, Nikki. So, you know, it's I can't believe this is our last session. It almost feels like we only just started the other day. So I want to thank you, Gula, again. And like Nikki said, I really, really hope we all stay connected somehow, because it would be such a shame if we don't. So yeah. So my name is Sheila. Like Chris said, I'm a chemotherapy nurse. I work at one of the leading cancer hospitals in the UK. I'm also a business coach and mentor in health and well-being. So my passion to help others is what led me to do what I do. And I'm currently helping people to, you know, by promoting a healthy lifestyle using natural products. And I absolutely love doing that. So yeah, so I think it's just reflecting on what we have done in the past 5 sessions, and today, just hearing everyone's stories and experiences. We've opened up to each other. We've just absolutely loved each other's company. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. And I really appreciate you. So like I said, I hope we do stay connected somehow. So thank you. And I'm going to pass over to Gula.
Thank you, Sheila. And I am Gula Cortis, and I'm the founder of Gula Sorts It. So don't go and look it up on the website because it's not there yet. We will get to it one day. I don't think it's a massive big priority to prove on a website how much I do. But I love sorting things out, and I am really passionate about helping creative entrepreneurs with young businesses, specifically where they are stressed out, overwhelmed, and really cannot focus anymore at the front of the business because they're so delved in everything that happens in the background. So I love just helping them out and straightening up systems, or manage a project, or manage a team. And just recently, specifically after what happened last week, talking about being visible and heard, and it is amazing what it does to our own businesses, and the opportunities that's just suddenly just flooding in. And this specific one has added in like being an accountability partner. And it all started off with a group exercise 6 weeks ago. I did for Mildred's Visible Women Tribe. We had a group exercise where we said, okay, let's go into your group and help be the accountability partner for one person. And I created it into a daisy chain rather than one-to-one. So I had to back one lady, which I did really successfully, and she had to write her book, Lucinda, and she has written all her words now. She's there, so she's really happy. But then there's another lady who was really into it as well. She said, can I join you guys as well? I said, well, the easiest thing to do is I'll put you in front of my person. So now she'll be taking on the next goal setting for Lucinda, and then I'll be pushing her to her goal. So it just opens the chain up and put another person in, and it's easier if you do it like that. So I'll then back her, and then she will back Lucinda for her next go. It's really fun to do. But I suppose that's what I like. I like sorting it. I love helping everyone, and I'm absolutely loving to see how we can keep this group going. So let me go and introduce you to Tracy now. Tracy, the stage is yours.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, here we are. Here we are on our very last session. Well, it won't be the last time. I'm sure we're going to find something else to do, because even if nobody's listening, we have been visible to each other and heard to each other. And we've just inspired each other, and just really had a lot of fun doing this. Yeah, I think it's really important for us just to step out of our little worlds and our comfort zones and reach out to other people in this way. So I think it's really important. And I would encourage anyone listening to this to go get your own little tribe of sisters and have a go too, because it's great fun. Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to my dear friend of 30 years, Gula. She's the sort of inspiration behind this. And, she's just the most inspiring person. I mean, what she stands for is, the more I get to know her, the more I'm inspired by her. I never fail to be inspired by Gula, and I'm inspired through her words and her actions and how she lives her life. And this is just another kind of expression of who she is. And also, Sheila, Nikki, Chris, Diane, all so inspirational, and just enjoyed you all so much. Anyway, I haven't even said who I am yet. I'm Tracy Keeley, and I'm a teacher of media and film studies in a sixth form college. I really enjoy the aspects of my job where I inspire young women as well. I mean, it's a theme that's kind of running through everything we do, is inspiring people, and, particularly young people or people who don't feel heard. Just encouraging these girls to have their voice, to believe in themselves and to have confidence. Right, let's move us on then. So it is Diane's turn now. Dynamic Diane, last but not least.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for that handoff. Thank you all, ladies, for your summaries and your introductions. And thank you, Gula. Thank you for bringing us all together, this group of sexy at 60 ladies. Like Tracy said, my name's Diane Daniels, and I am a spiritual guide, minister, and aspiring speaker. I'm really passionate about helping women 35 or older, just like you and me, just like all the beautiful ladies on this screen, to create and manifest the lives we want to live, incorporating our experiences and our knowledge from our past, who we are right now, and who we want to be in the future. Because let me tell you, folks, nobody's going to tell these ladies it's time to hang it up. We've all got things to do, places to go, things to learn, and new people to become. That is what it means to be sexy at 60. In our last session, we talked about how you can combine your experiences and the learnings of your past, how you can take your current life with all its joys and concerns and that future that you're designing for yourself to increase and maintain your visibility, honor your voice, and be heard. It is far too often that women of a certain age are expected to just go like sit in the corner somewhere. Oh no, not us and not you. We still have so much life left in us. Come with us on this Sexy at 60 journey. If this is your first episode, go back and catch the prior episodes and keep your eyes open for us, because we're not going anywhere. Gula, back to you.
I love it. You're such a great talker. Amazing. Uh, so here we go. We've already said it. So we are going to now give our own stories around keeping the spirit young. And if you know of any old spirits, let's hear it. So we're going to start again with Nikki and we'll go and pass round. Nikki, over to you.
Thank you so much, Gula. Do you ever remember when you were about 20 or 30 years old, looking at your parents, or perhaps an aunt or an uncle, and thinking, ooh, they're quite old? I've got news for you. They were probably only about 50 at that stage. And here we are, becoming 60. And this week I thought about it. I thought, well, what's the opposite of being young? Is it old? Because I'm telling you, I do not feel old at the moment. And I've spent the last 2 weeks with my mum, somebody that I don't see very often because we live 10,000 miles away from each other. But we have stayed connected, and normally in normal years, we see each other at least once a year. But about a year and a half ago, my mum joined the nonagenarian clan. Yes, she is now 91. And aside from a few years in my rebellious teens, I always thought that my mom was actually quite hip and happening. And I always, despite the fact that I looked at photographs of her, and when I was in my 20s, I thought she was old, I always thought that she was actually younger than all my friends' mums. So spending the last 2 weeks with her, just her and I for most of the time, with both of us having a mild attack of a little virus that forced us to isolate, was interesting. But we proved that we are both younger than our years. Yesterday, I suddenly remembered I was talking about keeping the spirit young on Sexy at 60. And I looked at Mum and I said, do you think I could interview you for this session? She agreed, probably with a little bit of trepidation, thinking, what is she up to this time? And after dinner, I said to my mum, I'll clear up, you go and put your interview hat on. I cleared up. I went into her sitting room and there she was with her fabulous hat on. She said, you said, put my interview hat on. This is it. I smiled and I wondered what 90-year-olds would do that. We started chatting and I asked her what she thought it was that had kept her so young. She said, well, I have 2 sons and a daughter. The sons have done nothing for me to keep me young, but my daughter and my 2 daughters-in-law have chivied me along for the last 40 to 50 years to make sure that I always wore something nice, that I kept my hair looking reasonable, and that I even painted my nails on occasion. Funnily enough, this morning, I saw an article on LinkedIn, Dame Judi Dench. She said, don't worry about the way you look when you get old, as long as you keep your sense of humor. And I thought, but Mum's tried to keep young and look young, and I think that that's a great thing. I then started remembering times that Mum and I had gone into department stores when I was a young girl and trying on hats. And my mom would always say, hats don't suit her, but they suit you perfectly. And we'd put all manner of hats on in the department store, never buy a single one, but we would laugh at ourselves. And we would laugh and laugh some more. Even one day in the last 2 weeks, it had nothing to do with a hat, but we started reminiscing about something, and we both giggled so much. Honestly, we both nearly wet our pants. And my mom then said to me, she said, you know what, you've got to laugh. That's actually what keeps you young. Laugh, laugh, and laugh some more. Mainly at yourself and with others, but never laugh at others. Don't have fun at anybody else's expense ever. And if you don't laugh and have fun, you are going to grow old very, very quickly. She also said, never complain, never ever complain, always take opportunities. And she said, rely on the people around you, the youngsters. And I said, what do you mean? She said, you know, Nikki, when you were about 12 or 13 years old, I had to drive from a small town. Imagine a village like Windsor or Staines or Egham, and being sent to drive into the center of London. We were driving from a small town of Benoni to Johannesburg, and she was petrified. She had to go. My dad was working in an office block and he wasn't well and he needed to be collected. She'd never driven that far. And my dad said, ask Nicola, she'll come with you. She's not afraid of anything. And my mom said at that time, she realized that she could, in fact, do anything. Subsequent to that, my dad passed away quite a long time ago, just after they had returned to England, 32 years ago, and she has fended for herself, but she has relied on the people around her. She has reached out when she needed help. She has laughed and laughed and laughed. And here we are still, all these years later, both with COVID, and we can still giggle about the silliest things on the planet and ridiculous straw hats. I think that having fun and laughing a lot is one of the things that is going to keep me young, especially when I get to be 90 odd years old like my mum. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to my silly story about my mum and I. And I'm going to hand back to Chris to hear her words of surely serious wisdom about keeping young. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Nikki. What an inspirational story about you and your mom and how you laughed when you were, what a wonderful role model she was for you, and learning how to ask for help and laughing. You know, when you're doing things alone, it's a different story. So I love it. And I love how you both had COVID. Sorry to hear that, but that you laughed through it. And I'm sure that's what made you heal fast too. So thank you so much for your story. Really appreciate all you gals. I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's story. Okay, so I was taking a look at joyfulness and how to incorporate, and I went back, of course, flashing back to when I was younger. When I was a teenager, I became an extrovert. When I was a child, I wasn't. But fast forward to when I was in college, I was having a great time. And it was all of these questions every week have been very good to reflect, because it's like, oh, that's right, that's why. So that's been very helpful for me personally. But, you know, when I was in college, we were going out dancing. That was the post-disco time. We would always go dancing. So tons of dopamine and endorphins there. And we didn't care how we looked. We were just, oh, that's our favorite song. Let's go out on the dance floor and have a great time. So we did that. And then there was a lot of comedy clubs. So I went to San Jose State University in California, and there were comedy clubs all over the place. So enormous laughter, you know, and then as I mentioned a few sessions ago, I was in the ROTC program. So working out. So we have working out, going to comedy, and dancing. And I'm like, no wonder I love my 20s so much, because there was a lot of fun, a lot of loose. And then, of course, then you enter the more serious years. And I can tell you, you got to be careful with that, because while you want to be, you know, the good employee, and you're putting your time in, and while you're, you know, nailing down the marriage sequence of your life and then motherhood, it's very easy to kind of slip away of joy because you take yourself too seriously. And that's something that I've learned, and I've taught my 24-year-old daughter, you always got to lighten up, and she knows how to do that. She is very, very good at having little dinner parties and playing card games with her friends, or all different kinds of games. And I'm glad to see her have that, because I see far too many people take their lives way too seriously. They're working a ton of time. And it's like, no, you got to lighten up. So while I was being serious, I discovered scrapbooking when my daughter was 3. And that was my special creative outlet. And what I love about scrapbooking is when you do a double page layout, you can do it as fancy or as plain as you want. So that was really good. Another thing that I love about my career is working with teens, getting to know what they love, what they value. So at the end of a session, I might leave a couple of minutes open for them to show me a video on TikTok. Learning about their culture, learning about what they think is funny has really kept my spirit young. And I'm extremely grateful for that. Also spending time with my daughter, who lives 3 hours away now, but when we do get together or talk on the phone, she'll share a clip with me or something on Facebook. And again, it's keeping me in touch with what young people value now, which I find is really essential. And of course, it keeps me joyful, and I really appreciate that. So learning from others, always being willing to learn something. We think we have our version of funny, but what's a version for somebody else? What does another culture think is funny? So spreading your wings, getting that horizon, being more worldly. And another thing, since COVID, it's been hard to go out and have fun, but I've really enjoyed reading. I'm at the time in my life where I have more time to really learn about others and their, you know, from tragedy to triumph. I have so appreciated my Impact Book Club. That has given me tremendous knowledge and experience in a way that I have not experienced. I always like to go out, touch and see the world. That's my way of having fun. But all of these components, and then also another thing is, you notice as you're going through your life, they're really good friends. Well, these lovely ladies and a tribe of sisters on LinkedIn, we have the same value set, having things that we appreciate. We're on the same journey of getting better and growing. And that's what I really, really love, is that I'm now surrounding myself with people that we're all on the same wavelength, same path. We want to be successful. We're entrepreneurs. And like Diane said earlier, we're not ready to be tucked away, you know, off in the corner in a nursing home. I'm sorry, we got a lot of life left in us, and we're here to stay, and we're here to make a difference. And that's what I love. I feel like 60 is the new 40, you know, and that's just really great. And just so surrounding yourself with people, because I'm looking back on when I was younger and, you know, trying to people please and doing all of that nonsense. It took me a while to grow out of it. It's so funny because you'll look at yourself going, God, I'm sharp, I'm educated. How come I made these choices? But those choices, even though not the best, get you to where you are now. That's always a good thing. So there's always a purpose in the poor choices. There's always a purpose in the bad scenarios. Don't beat yourself up on it. It grows your character. And so that is what my lovely share is about, with joyfulness. And it's really kept me young. And in the spirit of Nikki, I don't know if this will show up, but I love this. I don't know if you can see it. They're little butterfly wings. I don't know if you can see it, but I thought I'd add those for whatever they're worth, and you barely can see them. Okay, that's enough on me. I'm going to pass it off to the fabulous Sheila. Thank you so much, and appreciate you guys.
Oh, thank you so much, Chris, and thank you, Nikki. It's so lovely to hear how you two are keeping your spirits young. So, wow, where do I start? So for me, time, I think time, it may leave marks on our bodies, but when it comes to keeping our spirit young, we have full control. It's about what we think or what you think yourself. As people age, they sort of they focus on the physical ailments or appearances, but often neglect keeping young at heart. We stop doing things that make us happy because other people tell us it's childish. As long as you don't hurt anyone, you should go ahead and just do whatever you enjoy doing without thinking that you're too old for it, I think. So I have a few top tips for keeping the spirit young, because I certainly do most of these things. So staying social, it's like making new friends like this. I mean, this is for me, yeah. So making new friends. So in the last year, I've joined a walking group of ladies. I'm fortunate enough to live in an area where there's so many places to walk. We meet once a month and we walk a different route each time. Then we have pub lunch afterwards. Our walking group is called Walk and Talk. And we basically just walk, talk, and laugh. And we welcome new people every single time. And so we just keep making new friends and staying social. And the other thing is just setting new goals. Do those things that you've always wanted to do. So imagination doesn't care how old we are. We can keep dreaming forever. So I read a lot of books. So Les Brown said, you're never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. So that's what we should be aiming to do. Never stop learning. That's another thing that keep your spirit young. Learning about new subjects or taking on new activities that will exercise your brain. Take classes if they're available, or find an interesting subject and perform some self-study. So like Henry Ford said, that's another book, anyone who stops learning is old, whether you're 20 or 80. Doesn't matter. If you stop learning, you've gotten old. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. So that's how I'm trying to keep my spirit young as well. I don't care that I'm 60. It really doesn't matter. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We actually grow old because we stop playing. So just remember that. Stepping out of our comfort zone is another thing, just to try new things. It will keep your spirit young. This will help in developing new passions as well. So, and like Nikki was saying earlier, find things to laugh about. Definitely humor is therapeutic. It reduces stress and helps people of all ages to stay young at heart. Watch silly movies, have fun, conversations with friends, and find fun and engaging activities that will keep all of you laughing all day long. It's one of the best ways to maintain a youthful spirit as well, and a sense of wonder about the world. So it's really, those are my top tips. And connecting with nature as well, I think. There's something about breathing in fresh air and feeling like part of natural world that nourishes the soul and keeps people of all ages feeling youthful and invigorated. And the last thing is staying healthy. So if you take good care of your health, your body won't wear out. Definitely, it will take time to wear out. So will your spirit as well. So what you eat, you drink lots of water, eat greens and veggies, eat the good fats, and work out and keep your body fit. Your brain will follow suit, definitely. And at the end of the day, there's no stopping the aging process, but people who want to age well, they have plenty of options when it comes to embracing a youthful attitude and spirit. Try new things as well. Like I said earlier, meet new people, adopt new passions, embrace change as much as possible. Doing that will make it easier to stay young and maintain a stress-free lifestyle, which can also help alleviate a wide variety of physical ailments as well as we grow old. There is a study which has proved that those who feel younger than they are they actually show fewer signs of brain aging. So that's like honestly. So on a personal note, I feel fab at 60 and feel absolutely blessed and thankful to have hit this milestone in my life. So because there's so many that haven't. Looking at myself today, I see someone who is up for anything, literally. I've had so many adventures and challenges in my life, and this is just the beginning. I enter my sixth decade with so much vitality and openness to new opportunities and experiences. I've never felt more enthusiastic for life. I'm ready for anything, and it's infectious. I feel like I'm getting more distinguished and growing wiser in all the best ways rather than getting older. Someone said, just like fine wine, you grow better with years. Age is strictly a case of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. so yeah, and 60 isn't so bad after all. It just means you've been a perfect 10 6 times in a row. And age is a beautiful work of art, years in the making. So I will wear my 60 proudly. So life definitely feels and looks more beautiful as I get older. So yeah, that's me. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I shall pass over to Gula.
Thank you, Sheila. And you are wearing your 60 hat very, very well. We all do. Absolutely. And you know what it is? It's the smile, it's the laughter. And I think if I look back on my time, it has always been that smile. Whether I was crying in the back of it or I was angry at the back of it, the smile was always there. And people still, when they see me, they say, "Why do you always smile?" But it's just, I've got to do it. My name Gulaire means she smiles, so I've got to do it justice. So I keep smiling, and it does keep you young. It's good for your skin as well. It's less wrinkles. But yeah, now, so that's a big one. Of course, I agree with everything Sheila just was talking about. But one thing we can add to that, of course, is live with no regrets. Because looking back is, in my eyes, very negative. And if we just move forward, learn from the experience, move forward, and I am not one for a bucket list. I am not going to create 100 tick off bucket list. I like to just take it from the moment when it's right to do so, because when I reach the tender age of 90 or probably 106, like my grandmother, I don't want to look on the list and say, "Oh no, I still haven't done that," because again, it takes away your youthness. And as we've discussed before as well, worrying, stressing takes away your youthfulness. It makes you old, and why do that? So live without regrets, and again with a positive mind. If you haven't done something you really wanted to do, it wasn't the right time. And you can always positively think, well, my next life I can do that. I've always wanted to marry a rich man. It's going to have to be in the next life. So there's always another one to come. And then, so then, of course, we've talked about children. I very much believe my children have kept my spirit very, very young. I had my children quite much at a much older age. I was probably nearly 40, and I don't know what it is. First of all, I was ready for it, but when you have them so late, because you have to keep up with everything they're doing, and you have to keep it fun, and you laugh, and you do crazy, silly things. And then you also mix with younger parents. So my very close friends are like within the group of the parents, they're like, 10 or 12 years younger than me, but we're all on the same wavelength when we're all, so there's one friend of mine, she sometimes sounds older than me, and then I listen to her, and she gives me advice, and she's like like a little mother to me. And then I'm feeling like, oh my God, I've been told off as a child, feeling a bit of a child, and I've been told off to do things differently. But that is good, because that keeps you in the moment, and just continue to just smile away and be positive and do silly things. Talking about silly things, a couple of weeks ago, or it was, I can't remember the date, but anyway, when we had a meetup, when Franzi from France came over to London, we had a Visible Tribe meetup in London, and we had lovely lunch. And I said, oh, why don't we go to lunch at Hard Rock Cafe? Because my daughter works there. and and it's a massive big place. I've never been there. And it's the big place to be in, if you want to go to a Hard Rock Cafe. So we all went there. And I said, okay, can we be served by my daughter? Can we? And she was just started her duty. Then what they need to do, all the staff, and you've seen it, of course, in other places as well. When it's someone's birthday, the entire, all the waiters, all the staff need to come to the table. One person then shouts out really loud to everyone everywhere. It's, like, it's Tracy's birthday, everyone. And then the whole crowd starts singing. So when I knew that they were going to do that, I said, okay, it's my birthday today. And of course, everybody knew it was a joke, but it was so fun that they just played along with it. So my daughter is screaming down the restaurant, it's my mother's birthday. And they just made, I've got a video of it. I might show it one day. But it was so fun to do, because it's like, well, why not? It's silly, and we've got to be able to do these things. And it doesn't matter, it's not my birthday. It's just, throw a bit of different spice into the mix. We don't have to stay too serious. And then when we after the dinner, we came away from the table, and there was a table further down, and the people are, oh, congratulations, happy birthday. And I'm like, thank you very much. And it's like playing the game, and it's just giggling like a kid, isn't it? And that's so fun. And then work-wise, I mean, I know we had to be serious at work, but I don't think I could ever be serious at work. The first job I had in a supermarket, I started selling water in the delicatessen counter. Because we used to sell 100 gram of salads, like something prepared. So you had these little pots in 100 grams, and then people could just take it, go to the till and take it away. So you can see that at Marks and Spencer's, you've got all these little deli pieces. And what did I do? I did a basket of 100 gram of water, and then asked the customer to take it to the till to see the reaction of the cashier. And the boss was very angry when he found out, but it was just fun. And then another one, I didn't even know he was the CEO of the company. We were all in the canteen, and I created this delicious tea. I said to everyone, I said, come on, let's make some lovely tea and see if somebody wants to drink it. And in those days, we used to smoke in the canteens. Can you remember those days? We used to smoke in the canteens. Yeah, I wouldn't like that now. So the cup of tea was with ash and cigarette butts and coffee and tea and whatever I could find on the table. And presented it to this man. I said, would you like to drink it? And he was one of the CEOs of the company, but it doesn't matter, it's fun. He didn't sack me, he just laughed. So yes, live with no regrets, and like we already said, just keep laughing and just enjoy, be positive, and that's it. Smile. I'll hand over to Tracy.
Hello, everybody, and hello to all the sexy 60s. Here we go. Thank you to Gula, and I can attest for her silliness, because that's what made us bond and become friends 30 years ago when we were helping out at seminars. And I do remember us being very childish and silly, or childlike, and that's what's made us friends. Okay, so here's my story on keeping the spirit young. Well, I must say, I'll be honest, I was dreading 60 because it just sounds so old, and the age was kind of just looming there in front of me. And, you know, you think about people in retirement going into this kind of decline, you know, and their lives going into some kind of oblivion, you know. But, you know, as we discussed in our Taking Risks and Personal Growth podcast, you know, stretching, growing, going through those comfort zones is a really good way to stay young. And I'm thinking now, okay, now I'm 60, I'm just going to live life and do everything I wanted to do. So in August, I am going to Costa Rica on a wildlife tour on my own. I haven't traveled on my own for over 20 years because I've been bringing up my son, and then COVID kind of hit, we weren't going anywhere. So this trip is a 60th birthday present to me. I am planning to see armadillos, sloth, toucans, and this is my prop. I am going to be looking for them, taking photos of them, and hopefully going down a few zip wires and doing some whitewater rafting as well along the way. So there we go. So I see a lot of parallels in what I'm going to say today with what Sheila was saying, actually, because for me, some of the spirit of keeping young is having dreams, being creative, being expressive, and having fun. We all are talking about having fun. And for me, it's also having the mindset of being a beginner. I think it keeps you young. You know, old people in the heart, spirit, they know it all already. To be young is to have a sense of wonder and curiosity, and to have a thirst for learning and a creative mind. And also this state of mind is great for friendships as well, to keep them fresh. I mean, there's so much that my friends don't know about me, and there's so much that, you know, I don't know about them. And it's kind of like having conversations with friends as if they're strangers, and trying to discover something new about that friend. And this is something I do sometimes, and it's really like eye-opening. And then also sharing something about myself that they didn't know. So there's always that sense of growth within that friendship. And it sort of brings joy to the relationships as well. Yeah, I mean, the other thing as well, very much linking to Sheila again, I like to have a beginner's mind in terms of how I go about life. I like to take walk through the nature reserve near where I live and look at it through beginner's eyes, looking at the small things, you know, the insects, the leaves, the tiny things, listening to the bird song, and then looking at with wonder at the big things as well, like the sky, looking at the shapes created by light through the foliage, looking at the light glittering on the water of the stream, taking close-up photos of weeds, because I like to look for beauty in things that people normally ignore, you know, like nettles. I've got some lovely pictures of nettles, stinging nettles, you know. And I find out I'm just really engaged in life when I'm doing that. Also, being expressed and having fun. is how I keep my spirit young. So what I love doing is ecstatic dance, and I've been doing that for a few years now. I don't know if you guys know what it is, but it's basically free dancing, no alcohol allowed, no shoes, and everybody is just dancing like crazy, basically. And it's such an amazing way to throw off stress, and it leaves me feeling really exhilarated and free. I dance with all the hot 20 and 30 somethings, and I'm the hot 60 something joining in. And then afterwards, we have a lovely chat and eat some fruit together. When I'm not at ecstatic dance, I love going to gigs in small venues and dancing right by the stage, usually with my crazy friend Gula. And sometimes we even end up on the stage, and we're very free in our dance. We just shake our hair and go a bit like crazy, and we just laugh and have fun. And yeah, so that sort of leads me on to my final point. It's so important to have kindred spirits, people who are young in spirit as playmates, who share this childlike sense of fun and adventure. So I'm so happy to have Gula as my friend and to have met these kindred spirits here with the Sexy at 60 sisters. I want to be around people who want to try new experiences, take risks and be out there, and to hell what anyone thinks. And maybe to see less of people who take their lives too seriously and get caught in negativity. And also, I am single, and I am really happy to be single until I meet somebody who truly inspires me and lights my fire. Some people use the term spinster to describe single women, and it conjures up the image of a sad older woman alone at home with her cats being miserable. But to me, even sadder are the glassy-eyed couple who sit there bored in each other's company with nothing to say to each other. Maybe just having a drink of wine and sitting in front of the TV. But I am single, I am proud, and I am loving life. And I fully intend to remain young, free, and single until I meet somebody incredible. So spending this time with my Sexy at 60 sisters is keeping my spirit young. And thank you, ladies, for your inspiration, passion, and zest for life. Now that's it for me. And I'm taking you across again to Diane, who is going to be closing our session today. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you to all my Sexy at 60 sisters who have brought us inspiration for finding ways in joy in hats. Nikki, I love that hat and the story you told me. To remember to laugh. Please don't forget to laugh. It is so healing and so fun. Don't be too serious about your life. We've all lived a little bit. And while there are serious things that we've been through and that have happened to us, there is so much more that we have to smile about. Do what you love. And when you're sexy at 60, you know what it is that you love. We don't waste time doing things that we don't want to do, that don't feed our spirits and our hearts. We have control. We get to decide. That's one of the benefits of being sexy at 60. You get to decide how you want to spend your time. Cultivate your imagination and your dreams. My dreams are different now than they were in my 20s, and I'm loving every minute of that. Stay in good health. Keep moving. You don't have to move at the same speed you did when you were 20, but actually, by the time you get to 60, you might just scare that 20-year-old you used to be, depending on how well you take care of yourself. Get rid of that over serious, okay? Just because we're 60, we don't have to be serious at 60. We want to be sexy at 60. Giggle as much as you possibly can. Find ways to make yourself laugh. And finally, definitely not least, encourage your own creativity. I'm not sure what it is about being 60 or close to 60. You find yourself ready to take a risk or two. We talked about that in one of our previous episodes. We need to keep our spirits young, but what sometimes might trip us up is we try to think of practical ways to keep the spirit young. And sometimes it may be even hard to figure out, how do you even get started keeping your spirit young? To embody the spirit of youth for all of us, it can be as easy as experiencing the same emotions, some of the same habits and patterns that we did when we were young. Young ideas, young brains, young expressions and experiences. When we were young, we were full of creativity. Creativity is not some mystical, you have to be born with it skill that you either have or you don't. There are ways that you can re-stimulate and reawaken your sense of creativity in everyday life and benefit from new ways of thinking and problem solving, because the problems that used to bother us in our 20s and our 30s, they're nothing now in our 60s. First, try switching up your regular routine. It's known, yes, and it's comfortable, but you can get stuck in a rut doing the same thing over and over and over again. Read new books, listen to new music, introduce change and novelty into your eating plan with some new foods or new places to eat. Refresh your mind and your body by taking a different route into or out of your neighborhood, whether you're driving or walking or bicycling. Maybe try a scooter instead of a bike once in a while to give yourself that different viewpoint. This will stimulate your mind and get you thinking about possibilities and new approaches to life, and you might just have a little fun on the side. Next, relax those same old rules. So much of our lives are ruled by shoulds and oughts. From 8 glasses of water we should be drinking every day to the right foods we ought to be eating, our lives can wind up overstructured. And I've heard more than one motivational speaker say that life is too short for us to be shoulding all over ourselves. Don't listen to that conventional wisdom. Do things your way. Break some of the rules. Smile and say hi to the waiter or the bus driver or just that coworker that you don't speak to very often. Crack a joke to help ease an uncomfortable silence. Open up and allow your creative side to flourish. Third, take note of what's around you. How many times do you walk past something and not really see it? Sit in the present time and hold off thoughts of what you should or you ought to be doing. Just observe what's really going on around you. That bird's nest that maybe you never noticed before, that before you might have seen the eggs in it, but now there are baby birds in there and you can hear them sing. And sometimes if you sing back to them, they'll sing back to you. Work your way through each of your 5 senses: smelling, hearing, tasting if you're adventurous. What are you seeing? What can you touch? Explore your senses and really notice your environment. Notice everything, and then if you have one handy or use your cell phone and make yourself a quick audio memo, talk about what it is that you see and experience. Get used to expanding the use of your senses and what you notice about your immediate environment. And you'll find yourself picking up information and clues and seeing and hearing and experiencing things that you never did before, because you were so focused on other parts of your life. Finally, really talk to people. How many of your conversations are either you talking or being talked at? Take a step back and really engage with other people. Turn off that impulse to think about what you're going to say before the other person even stops talking. Practice active listening and give the other person space to speak and express themselves. You'll be surprised how many people will tell you more about their lives when the space is there for them to express themselves. You'll get to know your friends, your coworkers, your acquaintances, and open up so many possibilities and creative solutions that you may never have thought of, all because you made space for your creative side, your young spirit, to come back out and play. Journaling is one way, it's one of my favorite ways to keep my spirit young and to notice things around me, to reinforce my learning, to notice things and help keep my spirit young. I've kept a diary since I was 9 years old, and while I now call it journaling, the concept is the same. Sometimes I actually go back and reread some of the stories I wrote at that age, and it's amazing how my imagination worked. If you don't currently have a journaling practice and you'd like to learn more about journaling, you can visit my website at dianemdaniels.com. And on the front page, right below my picture, you can sign up for my 5 simple steps to start your journaling practice. It's a no obligation free PDF that will give you a set of instructions for creating a journal jar, a set of bonus journaling prompts to get you started, and away you go. Thank you, everyone, for your time and attention over these past 6 weeks. It has been wonderful sharing time with my fellow panelists and with you, our Sexy at 60 audience. And I have to give big props, big love to Guler Cordes, who sorted it all out, got us all together, and brought us here for the Sexy at 60 series. Go, Guler, go. Hey.
Thank you. Amazing. That is fantastic. Gosh, not a loss for words now. It's so touching, isn't it, when things come to an end? It's like, wow. But I've really, really enjoyed it. This was such a lovely session. And again, it's all so different. I love the way we all talk different, and it can be about the same points, but it's just delivered so differently. And that's what I really liked doing this show, because I thought it will display a bigger audience, because you know, not everybody may like to listen to me. You know, so at least you've got you can touch a bigger audience, basically. So someone might be tuning in weekly for Diane or Chris or Tracy or Nikki or Sheila
Or Guler.
or Gule. Who knows? But that's the fun part of doing a lovely session like this. It's been such an adventure, learning for all of us as well. Loved it, loved every minute of it. And for the audience and listeners, press the like button, subscribe to the channel, give some lovely comments. If you have any questions, direct questions, find us on LinkedIn. And if you are really interested for us to come back for a Q&A, let us know. Speak out, shout, be visible and heard. So we're going to say goodnight now, and see you next time.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Gula.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care. We love you.
Love you too.